أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله أحمده واستعينه واستهديه واستغفره وأؤمن به جل وعلا ولا أكفره وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله والله كره المشركون. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help, His assistance and His guidance. We believe in Him and do not disbelieve in Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His servant and messenger. Allah sent Him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, the religion, the way, the methodology of truth. This way of life known as Islam will rise to its proper position in this world, whether the mushriks like it or not. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأوثق الأمور كلمة التقوى وخير الملال ملة إبراهيم وخير السنن سنة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأشرف الحديث ذكر الله وأحسن القصص هذا القرآن وخير الأمور أوزنوها وشر الأمور محدثاتها وأحسن الهدي هدي الأنبياء وأشرف الموت قتل الشهداء وأما علامة دلالة بعد الهدى وخير الأعمال ما نفع وخير الهادي ما أتباع وشر أما الكلب. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said the most truthful of discourses is Kitabullah. The most trustworthy word is taqwa or fear of Allah. The best of the community is the community of Prophet Ibrahim. The best way of life is the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The remembrance of Allah is the most glorious of all things. The best of all acts are those requiring the highest degree of will and determination. The best of all narrations is Quran. The worst acts are those based on innovation. The best way of life is the one adopted by the prophets of Allah. The most glorious death is the death of the martyr. The most wretched blindness consists of going astray after finding the right way. The best acts are the ones that yield benefits. Best guidance is that which people may be able to follow. The worst blindness is the blindness of the heart. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. Allah commands justice, doing of good, and liberality to kith and kin. He forbids all shameful deeds and injustice and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. فَأَنْ يُرِيدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Those whom Allah in His plan willeth to guide, He opens their breast to Islam. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ حَقَّ تُقَاتِهِ وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. O you believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, and do not die except in the state of Islam. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. اذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. And hold fast all together by the rope which Allah stretches out to you, and be not divided amongst yourselves. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nasi ta'muruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان وأعد لهم جنات تجري تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا ذلك الفوز العظيم. The vanguard of Islam, the first of those who forsook their homes, and of those who gave them aid, and also those who follow them in all good deeds. Well pleased is Allah with them, as are they with Him. For them He hath prepared gardens under which rivers flow, to dwell therein forever. That is the supreme felicity. We took our name from this ayat, As-Sabiqun al-Awwalun. And As-Sabiqun are people that win in a race. As-Sabiqun go out first before everybody else. And in Islam, when it talks about As-Sabiqun al-Awwalun, the Mufassirs, those who make tafsir of Quran, said those were the people that accepted Islam before Badr. Badr was the first battle in Islam. It was 2 years after the Hijrah. It's because the people who first accepted Islam in the early days, you accepted Islam, by the way, as a note, you notice in the Medina surahs, in the Mecca surahs, there's no mention of munafiqeen. Only in the Medina surahs. That's because in the early surahs revealed in Mecca, there was no munafiqs, because there was so much pressure, so much hassle, that there was no reason to be a munafiq. Because if you accepted Islam, all you was accepting was fitna and problems and isolation and oppression. So that's why you don't find any munafiqs mentioned generally in the early revelations. Now, when the Hijrah came and they migrated to Al-Madinah, after Badr, which was 2 years after the Hijrah, here it is 1,000 people or 813 people defeat thousands of the enemy. And they were well prepared, the enemy was well prepared, they was fully armed to the teeth, but they were defeated. After Badr, that showed that, hey man, this Islam may be here to stay, because it can defend itself. So the Arabs in the region say, hey man, this Badr is something, and this Islam may be here to stay. It's to challenge the strongest arm of Jahiliyyah in that region. Now, it might be here to stay. So now you start recognizing munafiqs. People who accept Islam, but they don't really accept it, but they're hypocrites. They're just saying they accept Islam. That's why the Mufassirs, when they talk about As-Sabiqun, Al-Awwalun, that's the first rank. As-Safal Al-Awwal is the first rank right here. As-Sabiqun Al-Awwalun mean the first line of defense against Islam. And those people who accepted Islam, at that time, they wasn't playing, they just was down with Islam. And that's why the people who write tafsir, it's not exclusive, but it hints at those people who accepted Islam in the early days with no guarantee of success. They accepted Islam. In our case, we took this name because now we done looked around America and we see what's going on. I mean, years ago, we took this name well over 20 years ago. But we were doing the work basically 40 years ago. So then, the name that you take have a lot to do with your personality, your goals, and your aspirations. And we saw that the Muslims in America were basically Americanized Muslims. They wasn't really prepared for any psychological challenges, emotional challenges on Islam, political challenges. They weren't in that mode. And by the time we opened up in Oakland, all the political Muslims, the Dar al-Islam movement, right, and the Islamic Party were in a decline. They were being oppressed and closed down. Within a few years, one group was traveling around the Caribbean trying to find a home. The other group in here, by 83, they was done for, basically. Our two good movements of those days. They were both political, and they both were relatively disciplined. Self-discipline. So now, when we get rolling, we take our name based on what we expect to encounter and how we expect to respond to that. And actually what we want to be. We want to be As-Sabiqun. Those that go out first. They face the challenge. You don't have to prove to them that it's a guaranteed success. You know, everything's going to be taken care of. You're going to be all right. They don't need that. They're the first rank. They're going to go out anyway, no matter what the challenge, no matter what they face, no matter what they encounter, they're going out and do it. That's what they want to be. They're not that necessary yet, but they take that name. Those are their heroes. They don't want to be the eagles or the chieftains or the Mohawks, none of that. They want to be As-Sabiqun Al-Awwalun. The vanguard, the pioneers, the first rank. the trailblazers, right? The ones that go out first. Now, just in passing, if that's what you want to be, and that's what you organize your behavior pattern around, there's something that's going to come at you because of that. If you got your other examples out there, 2 Muslim examples, they're already getting chopped up. They're ready to go. Don't talk about black examples, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. It don't make no difference whether you are modest, moderate, whether you are radical or revolutionary. In America, if you black and you want to change anything, if you do anything other than duck your head and ease around and wave the flag, you're in trouble in America. It don't make no difference what your position is. It don't make no, we've been seeing this, forget the 400 years of slavery. They didn't have 150, 165 years to stop shooting blacks since slavery, right? And they shoot a black person anytime they want. They stop and frisk them, shake them down. Forget about your Fourth Amendment, the illegal searches and seizures. You don't have that. They got something that excludes you from the Declaration of Independence and from the Constitution, your Fourth Amendment right. You're excluded. And we accept that. We don't accept it like gladly, but we know that. So we know if we're going to take a name, As-Sabiqun, and then practice trying to be that, that means when everybody else, if they do something in the society and they blow up buildings and blame it on us and everybody start running, no, we're going to stand there and say, no, boss man, we ain't going nowhere. We're right here because that's what As-Sabiqun do. They go out front. They predict, they anticipate what's going to happen. That's what's Sabiq. And they also win the race. They anticipate what we're going to encounter. They anticipate what we're going to have to deal with. They anticipate it and they prepare for it because they're pioneers. That's what they do. They're trailblazers. They go out ahead of everyone else. And in some cases, the Arabic dictionaries say they might go out and do a job before anybody else even know that the job needs to be done. And then they keep on going because they don't stay around. They're not settlers. You know, they're not settlers. You know, the people come in, the army take the land, and the settlers come in and build houses and everything. Sabiqun may do that in the long run, but in the original, they're trailblazers. They're pioneers. They're not settlers. Now, the people that come after them, they're settlers. They're going to build all the Masjid, they're going to do all the things. But Sabiqun may build a Masjid out in the woods and ain't nobody to go there. Because he know that people are going to move right along that road and pretty soon they're going to see the sign, Masjid, and they're going to go into that Masjid. There ain't even nobody out there yet. Because that's what As-Sabiqun do. They anticipate, they predict, they anticipate, right? All the things that's going to happen. And they get busy doing it. That's why the Quran talks about these special people. The vanguard of Islam, the first of those who forsook their homes and those who gave them aid, that's the Ansar. And also those who follow them. Tabi'un, the people who follow As-Sabiqun in good works. And in all good deeds, well-pleased, Allah is well-pleased with them. Because radiyallahu anhum, Allah is pleased. Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with him. For them he hath prepared gardens under which rivers flow, to dwell therein forever, that is a supreme achievement. Al-Fawdul Adim, that is the highest achievement, is to reach paradise and to be in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And anything that we deal with on earth is sufficient for us, because we know that this is not our permanent abode. The permanent abode, the highest abode, is Al-Fawdul Adim. It is not righteousness that to turn your faces toward the east and the west, but righteousness is to believe in Allah, the last day, and the angels, and the book, and the messengers, to spend your substance out of love for Him, for your kin, for orphans, for the needy, for the wayfarer, and for those who ask, and for the ransom of slaves, to be steadfast in prayer, to practice regular charity, to fulfill the contracts which you have made, and to be firm and patient in pain, in suffering, and all adversity, and throughout all periods of panic. Such are the people of truth, the God-fearing. That's swallowing a lot. Technically, that's the whole aspect of Islam right there. So it's saying basically, Laisa al-Bira Tawallu Wujuhum Kibala al-Mashriqi wal-Maghribi. This Qibla is like a Qibla is a place we face for prayer, but it also means since you kiss somebody and you're face to face with them, it also has that connotation too. So it is not righteousness that you turn your faces toward the east and the west. That's a ritual. But it is righteousness to believe in Allah. Al-Bir. Righteousness is to believe in Allah and the last day, and the angels, and the books, and the messengers, and to spend your substance out of love for Him. وَأَتَى الْمَالُ عَلَى حُبِّهِ. Now that means you give this, but you love what you give. You know, you really like this money. And the other ayat coming next will explain a little more detail. But part of your religion is to give and to help and assist. Not only the poor and the needy, but to help the process of the movement, to help it grow and develop. And it mentions, there's an 8 category. This mentions 6 or 7 of them. But Ibn Sabil is a guy who's out traveling along the way and he runs out of money. You can help him. That's Ibn Sabil. Do y'all remember the commercial about Musa when he went took the big Hajj caravan? Y'all don't remember? Okay. Musa was Somali. This guy was so rich that he took a whole caravan of people from Mali on this side of Africa to the other side and then into Saudi Arabia. He was so rich that he changed the economy wherever he went. Remember Mali, that was where he got a lot of gold from. Timbuktu is there. Now, when you used to be lost, they used to say, remember when we was young, he lost his Timbuktu. Like it was nothing that if you want to be lost, go to Timbuktu and get lost. They didn't tell you that Kuliya, the first universities was in Timbuktu. They didn't tell you that. Some of the greatest kings in Africa was from there. They didn't tell you that. But anyway, this guy, when he traveled through Egypt and everywhere, he changed the economy. He had so much money. And he spent money everywhere on the way. He was a real Negro. Now, when he came back, he ran out of money. But he could borrow money from the people in Egypt and other places. Why? He was rich. When he get back home, he's going to have plenty of money. But he's Ibn Sabil. He's traveling along the way. If you're a traveler in Islam and you run out of money, you can borrow money. People have to loan you. Hey, because you're a traveler. Well, in those days, now you go to the teller machine and stuff. But in the old days, you just say, hey man, I'm on the road, I'm traveling, and I done run out of money. Ibn Sabil. Fiya Rikab. Rikab means the neck. Like, we haven't forgotten people like Imam Jamil. You know, every time we get a big piece of money, the government try to find some way to take it or do something with it. But we haven't forgot, because part of zakat, part of our religion is to pay attention to our people who are in need. Fiya Rikab. That means who's in bondage. That means your neck. Rikab is the neck. Those people who are in bondage. That means you can take zakat money and bail people out of jail. That's right. If you don't believe it, study Maulana Maududi's piece. Of course, Maulana Maududi's movement, and movement people would go to jail all the time. So in his tafsir, when he talks about these people, he says, yes, you can even bail people out of jail with zakat money. The other people don't mention that because they're not movement, so they write a wonderful tafsir on fasting, on charity, but not on the things dealing with day-to-day struggle and going to jail, because they don't go to jail. They just write the tafsir. But anyway, this is Maulana Maududi. I believe his book is Angels of the Last Day, on and on. But they give out of wealth that they love. Now there's another ayat that Lan tanalu al-bir hatta tunfiku mimma tahibbuna wa ma tunfiku min shay'in فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِهِ عَلِيمٌ. By no means shall you attain righteousness unless you give freely of that which you love. And whoever and whatever you give of a truth, Allah knoweth it well. So you won't attain al-bir, righteousness, until you give freely of what you love. Now that means, it's like the money we have. We lack our money, right? And to think about giving it away, you gotta struggle. I mean, you gotta push yourself, right? This is what the Quran is talking about. You're not just giving away, oh, here comes my zakat. Because it used the word infaq here. Infaq is an extra giving. You won't give, or you won't until you just, if you want to be righteous, or good, until you almost sweating bullets to give that money away. I mean, you are anxious, you are almost uncomfortable giving that. I mean, because you're worried about poverty, the kids need shoes, all that stuff running through your mind. And Islam is telling you, well, give it away. You know, there are some rules I have found that the people that give the most keep getting the most. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know where it's coming from. I look at one family that I know of. They're a rich kind of Indian family in South Africa. And they sponsored all the programs that we would do in South Africa. they would sponsor them, and they wasn't sweating. And then I was talking about all the charity work they was doing around South Africa. I said, man, these guys is really rolling. So the African guy told me, he said, shoot, that ain't nothing. They built 10 masajid in the Congo. Goodness gracious alive. In Mali and everywhere. And so I started thinking, like back in the old days, these guys must be selling dope on the side or something, because all that money. But they wasn't. Everything was halal. I'd go and they got a big office complex. They got big factories that hire thousands of people, and they all going, these are Muslims only. And I'd be sitting in there watching. I said, I know something going on. All the money they're spending. And everybody there work for them, have, oh no, we get a nice living wage, we just rolling along. And then all the Africans that was always talking about them, I was sitting in a cut in the office one day, and there's a window, and every one of them Negroes was coming in and picking up an envelope. And when they go through the parking lot, they'd open that envelope, and it was full of rands. I said, man, where are these people getting all that money? Something is going on here. You know, the Negro talk. Something is up here. It was Allah kept saying, they giving it away, and Allah keeps sending it. And they give it away, and Allah keeps sending it. And not only the places they live, but all the whole family, they are, man, I mean, they like rich. And they didn't just jump, they've been wealthy a long time. But when they start giving away their money, they jump rich then, big rich. They're the richest family over there. They're the richest family in South Africa. Super rich. And the guy was just telling me, I said, man, these people give away plenty of money. They sponsored all this. There's a school there. And they would be taking me around. Oh, we're going to the Winter Festival. And they would be there. They would have, and they would donating to Africans again. You know, the first Orange Festival around Johannesburg, where the Africans taking over farms. And this is their first crop of oranges. And so they're getting people to appreciate African-grown products. And they go there, and the Africans are also contracting to sell their fruit, but they also donate money to African schools. And then I see all the other Indians, I say, everybody's here. They said, well, the mayor of Johannesburg is going to give a speech. And so they came. I said, the mayor of Johannesburg, we were driving for about 2 hours. You know, here a mayor is the mayor right here in this town. But I said, what is the mayor of Johannesburg? He said, well, they got it different here. The whole region, the mayor is running the whole region. That type of thing. But anyway, they was giving away money. And I was just flabbergasted. But one thing it helped me with, I said, well, maybe I'll just loosen up a little bit. You know. Yeah, loosen up a little bit. Now at that time we was living in the office back there with my family. Y'all may not remember. We was living in the office. Why? Because we needed money to do certain things on here. It don't look like much here, but we had to raise $300,000 just to put what's in here now. And we ain't finished. We got halfway and stopped. But it gave a certain comfort. And guess what? It don't seem like it. But As-Sabiqun, that means me and you, are kind of an example like the people who give away everything. We walk right down this American street and we come in contact with every fitna, and we just keep right on doing it. We ain't changed our mind about, well, boss, we didn't have enough. No. We the same like we've been. Sometimes we take a little week off or a few days rest, But then we come right back and we tell people, if they tear off your roof, like if you look outside, you'll see that it's just, for a while, they wanted our place to look like a junkyard. That's why there's all old cars out there. There's an old raggedy tow truck there. There's cars all out there. They punch a hole in all the roof. Because if you have a hole in your roof, then it'll ruin other stuff. Well, sometimes we just sit back and watch. Somebody move in, we said, just go on, have a good time. And they do. They tear it up just like what they technically destroy it. When you go in there, like we're going in tomorrow, the next few days, we gotta redo the whole thing. But we said, that's all right. We just tear everything out and start all over and make it a brand new place again, right? Fine. But that's a certain attitude you have to have. You can't have no attitude like of pessimism and we can't do it, because we have one flyer, it's called "A setback ain't nothing but a setup for a comeback." Now, we got a friend here in D.C., Willie Jolly. He actually phrased it all, and we liked it because that's what we always, that's been our theme song for 60 years. A setback ain't nothing but a setup for a comeback. And that's been our call. Like right now, we down to 2 centers here in Oakland. We didn't have Seattle, Washington, we didn't have San Diego, you know what I mean? 2 in LA. We've been all over the country. But that ain't nothing about what the government do, As-Sabiqun. If they knocked over every place we have, and there's 1 or 2 people left, we're still in the game. Material is only a reflection of what you're trying to do. But it is not the actual goal. It only makes things better for everybody else. The masjid, right? The business, the school, the living close together, right? That just makes it good for everybody else. But As-Sabiqun, their goal is to jump in there and keep on moving. In the process, you might have a setback. That was a time in D.C., it don't seem like long ago to us, but 10, 15, 20 years ago, we'd have a demonstration all the time in D.C. We had one demonstration down there, it was 500,000 people down there. And we was doing security as usual. It was funny because, you know, when you're working with all the white folks like Answer and all of those groups, they have a certain view of money. So there's 500,000 people down there. One of the biggest things they've had down there. So at that time they said send out the buckets and whatever, barrels, whatever they had, and raise money, you know, for the demonstration. And they did. And the people bought all them buckets and barrels of money. You know where they set up? Right by the stage, and they walked on about their business. We're doing security. There's some of the people still here right now. So I told the white man, I said, you can't set the money right there. This is actually money. And then it was 21 buckets. Remember that? 21 buckets. So I told the brothers later on, I said, if white folks do that again, we're going to make a Negro move on them. But this time, we took the money, just like we were supposed to, and they had a medical tent, right? You know, that's where we put the money, and we put a few brothers on that. That technically wasn't our job. Our job was security, but we secured the money too. The white folks collected all that. I have no idea how much money was in there. It was just 500,000 people down there, right? So if everybody gave 50 cents, that's $250,000. Don't mean they gave $1. some gave 10 or 20 or 100. We didn't know. So there it is. All we had to move the stuff aside in the medical tent and had the money put in there. And people was thinking, we're needy ourselves. Aren't we needy, Imam Musa? I said, man, get out of here with that stuff. You're needy. Zakat, all that money is for the needy, the traveler. Every category of needy people, we fit half of them easy. Mu'allafatul qulub, those whose hearts are recently new to Islam, so we need some of that money to help us feel good about Islam, although it's mixed money. So it's, no matter what we face, we're still here. You have to think a lot. There's some reason we're still here. And every now and then we talk about little stuff that go on. You don't know 1% of the stuff. There's stuff go on here and all around the country, everywhere, all the time. If they wanted, the Masjid we had in San Diego, I was going to Texas so much for lectures a few years ago. They closed that down, and the guy in Texas, our brother, he showed up in Texas. I looked at him like, of course I knew what the white man told him to close the Masjid there. So I just looked at him. I didn't even hardly talk to him. I just looked at him. I didn't say, hey, since you're not in San Diego, why don't you open the Masjid here? I didn't say that because I know what he was doing. But that stuff happens all the time. It's like the people in South Africa giving money all the time, and they never going broke. That really does happen. And it happens in a way with us. The blows that we take, the things that we encounter, nobody else, if the white man throw a punch at the Muslims in America and the wind hit them, they'll fall down. Whew, they'll fall down. They hit us flush on the face, hit us in the tummy, hit us in the head, hit us in the breadbasket. All the time, every day. It's like we just standing there taking it like we're a punching bag. You know why? To show people what you can do. I don't care what they tell you, but the Muslims in America know almost exactly what goes on here on a regular basis. They know what we encounter. So in time, we feel that'll pay off in its own way. Because you know how Negroes are, and all human beings. I said, man, they can do that, we can do it. Like if the brother drive by in a big pretty new car, well, it ain't big nowadays. They said, that nigga can get a ride, I can get more. Because he did it, he black like me, right? If he can do it, I can do it, right? So that's for the Muslims. We hang around long enough, and we stick to it, and we keep the right attitude, and we don't sit around whining. They whining crying with a loaf of bread under their arm. If we continue like we're doing until our time passes, till we leave here, Allah promises the highest achievement is to win paradise and be there abadan, forever, or a long time. It means both. That's our goal. That's our work. Okay, let me go on. So remember, I'm talking about all of this to ask y'all to help us out on a few little projects around here. So that's what the whole thing on Zakat, Sadaqah, and helping, trying to help you help us without it hurting too much, because I know it does hurt. When you ain't used to giving away stuff and walking away, man, shoot, the shaitan is there. The Quran talks about the shaitan is there. He's reminding you of everything you need. Your children need this. The house need painting. You know what I mean? Your tires is wearing out, man, so you're going to need new tires next week. The shaitan, he got a whole list of real things. They really exist. They're not figments of an imagination. They're real things. You got to give with all of that happening, and it's real. That's what it means that you won't reach righteousness until you give freely of that which you love. You love it. You want it. It gives you a little comfort. You know what I mean? When I was in Jahiliyyah, I used to have some friends of mine. They was the biggest pimps in town. And we'd be talking. They'd be saying, yeah, but you can't do this and you can't do that. Nah, I was more of a gangster. And in those days, everybody wanted to manage women. Pimping was imaginary foolishness, and everybody I want to be, because you know, black people and women are always messing with them, so they want to, I want to pimp black women, white women, I want to be a pimp. So they used to be talking to me, and they say, and I have rough hands. So when they got to talking, and I'd pull out a stack of $100 bills and start counting, because pimps were more poor. They wasn't poor, but we considered them poor kind of money. He said, that nigga gonna file all them $100 bills. If I keep counting the money, I'm going to file the numbers off, you know, by counting. So that reality showed me something. It showed me that all the things that we wanted in Jahiliyyah, you know where you find it at now? In the junkyard. All those cars. Think about all them cars. Now, the cars, you can't even find the cars that we liked in the junkyard. That's 50 years ago. So they would be vintage cars now. All them big old pretty Cadillacs. Remember how Negroes used to feel about Cadillacs? If you had a Cadillac, you was the king of the world. Now I know Cadillac's a raggedy car. Benz is better, but we didn't like Benzes in those days. We liked Cadillacs. A few friends had Lincolns. If you want to find those things that you like, go to the junkyard. Or go to the Goodwill. All the holes, the big old bad suits you used to wear, they got holes in them. Them $200 tennis shoes, they hang it up on the wire somewhere. People have thrown them away, right? All the stuff that we work for, excuse me for skipping this point, all the stuff we work for in this life is going to the junkyard. The final goal in Fawzul Azim, the highest achievement, is to win paradise. All this stuff is going to be old. Your house eventually going to fall down. It's not going to be here forever. If you go to heaven, you're going to be there. Abadan, for a long, long time, or forever, right? Our focus in this world is a shallow and a narrow focus. If you give away your wealth, Allah places that in the universal bank of Allah. Now remember the Quran and the Hadith talk about the number of blessings you get from giving. So it says that it's like a stalk of corn. You know, if corn each year has 100 grains, and you got 70. It just may be 700 times for one gift, for $1. Okay, but it means a lot. It don't mean that that's 700 and you sit there by the house waiting for vicar and waiting for $700 to come back because you didn't get one. It don't come like that. But your reward is increased so many times from giving and helping. Now the other thing is is helping other people. We've all heard it is better to give than to receive, right? We've heard that. Do you know that's true? You know why most people don't know it's true? Because they don't never give enough to understand that it's better to give than receive. Zakah means to cleanse. It means to purify. So your zakat, your legal zakat, purifies and cleanses your wealth. And therefore it makes you a better, a more sincere, because all that's a part of zakah. Zakah, tazkiyah. When we want to make big steps in our behavior, tazkiyah bin nas. Zakah of nafs, the cleansing, the purification of your internal self, makes you better. All of these words are linked. Sadaqah, sadaqah, tasdikah, to cleanse, to purify. Sadaqah, yeah, you're giving away wealth, but it cleans you up, it purifies you, it makes you a better human being. And that's why Allah says, because Allah made us and Allah know you, by no means shall you attain righteousness unless you give freely of that which you love. And whatever you give of it truth, Allah knoweth it well. There's one, in one book there's a statement that a person came to Imam Hussein. That's the grandson of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the person told Imam Hussein, hey, I need 400 dirhams. And Imam Hussein gave him 400 dirhams. Then after the person left, he was crying. He said, why are you crying? You just gave your brother 400 dirhams. He said, I should have gave it to him before he had to humble himself to even come. I should have been paying attention. And I should have gave him that before. In other words, evidently Imam Hussein had some sense that the person was in need. He said, I should have gave that to the brother before he had to come and kind of bow his head and I need this from you. Right? This is the attitude of one of the Imams. Maybe it was, they stole his shoes at prayer. You know what he said? May Allah make it halal for them. May Allah make the shoes halal for the people. Probably needed them. That's when you're getting good. You know what I mean? That's when you're improving. When you have that attitude, it ain't nothing can happen to you. Because the hadith is clear. If good happens to a believer, they're grateful. If adversary, aversion or anything attacks them, adversity, they deal with it with discipline, with self-control, with focus. And that's good for them. Anything happens to a believer is good. Now back to the giving away a little money and helping us when it's going to hurt. I know your feelings. But giving is also a protection. It protects you from things you don't know nothing about. Not only do you get it back, because a part of zakah is growth and increase too. That you give it and it circulates and that develops more wealth. See, we think that if we hold on to our wealth, we would be more wealthy. It's not actually true. Circulating wealth is what makes the society better. The money has to circulate. Do you know, this is a different subject, but it's true. Do you know why the black community is poorer? And it gets poorer all the time? It's very simple. Jews, Koreans, all the other people that come here, they got a plan when they get here. Africans, all immigrants, everybody got it. You look at it, it ain't just one group of people. You can see a tire place here, a tire place there, maybe Nigerians and Africans. Everybody is in on this. When they come here, they see America different than me and you. We've been here all this time. And you know why people wonder, what's wrong with Negroes, man? This is, well, it used to be. This is the wealthiest joint in town, man. Why? He ain't rolling in money. Because of repetition. First of all, the people who come here from overseas got a plan when they come. They got a plan. Each one of them got a plan. If you see lums and yums and all that, and you can't find no soul food restaurant, it's because the Chinese had a plan when they came here. And the Koreans and everybody, they work as a group. They struggle. I don't care whether they washing dishes or mopping floors, but they're going to save that money. Pretty soon, they're going to pool that money. And then they're going to open a little joint. When that grows a little bit, they're going to put another pot together. Somebody going to pull a straw. They're going to get that money. Pretty soon, you look around, all the Koreans is having money. They came here with nothing. Right? We used to be like that. When we got out of slavery, hey man, we was sharp. You remember the old people? You remember black businesses? Some of y'all remember black businesses. Well, they got a few nail cutting, a few hair doing places. But you know, the Negroes don't deal enough with nails. Negroes don't even manage the beauty supplies, and we're the only ones go in there. We don't control the beauty supplies, Koreans, anybody but us. Why? Very simple, circulating money. Money come into the black neighborhood. On the first and by the third or fourth, all that money is gone. The Korean got it, the African got it, the Arab got it, the white folks got it, and they take that money back to their community to circulate in their community. Why does no money circulate in your community? See, we watched this happen. When it was black businesses going everywhere, it was because black businesses circulated the money around the community. If you went and worked at the cannery, you came back, you got your shoe shop, you got your shoes fixed, you got the cleaners, right? You got your car fixed. All of that stuff you did in your community. That's why in segregation we was doing better than we are now. Segregation was great. You know, they kill less niggas in segregation. They catch a few running around hanging, what have you, but generally, we had our own neighborhood, our own stores, our own shops, our own heroes. Everybody, Big Johnny Man just got hit, he'd go with so-and-so. Remember the days when you had black newspapers, and that's the only newspaper you bought? The Chicago Defender would be spreading revolution, them trained people getting them. Chicago Defenders was taking them all down south. And that's the only place you could find about what's happening with black people in black newspapers. Go find one now. They're all on life support. If it's any left, maybe the Baltimore or something or the Afro, they're not doing good. Why? Because they put us in the New York Times and they put us in that that doggone Washington Post, whatever they call it, right? And so we thought we was free. But our money has never been free, because when everybody gets money, they circulate the money around. In your community, money comes in. and it goes straight out. You don't get none of it, right? Everybody else gets our money. That comes from training. That comes from something that we go through almost every day, but we stick it. They beat you and hit you so much that you finally give up. They can mess with us for the next 1,000 years. It don't make no difference. We're going to keep on coming back. A setback ain't nothing but a setup for a comeback. And we're not even thinking about getting tired. Every now and then we go over and take a nap. We take a nap and take me. What I need 2-3 months. I'm going to take a nap for people. That's it. After that, it's just like right now. We right back. Why? Because if you ever want to be free, you're going to have to work for it. And you got competition now. You got everybody. When America's breaking down and coming apart, you got everybody, they flood into America. They flood into Europe. Right? You're not the big minority anymore. Latinos are. Yeah. Black people are not the favored minority. And just like all the stuff that you're the favored minority, that's this week. Irish was a favored minority. Scots was a favored minority. Everybody that ever come here, Germans was a favored minority. All the immigrants, Italians was a favored minority for a while, right? Look at the old movies. You can see it in their movies. They took the favored minority and they made them famous in movies. They may not have took nothing home, right? Look at movies now. You see Negroes turning flips and doing everything. You would think if you watched the movies that Negroes were super successful in America, right? They got TV shows. I ain't watched them, but I've seen the Empire. I can imagine what they are. Glossy, glitzy Negroes calling the shots, talking out of the side of their mouth, right? Is that real? No, it ain't real. If you even look at money, talking about circulating money, if you even look at money like you want to run it, look at the East Coast, West Coast rappers. Look at Motown. Look at anybody. Somebody else gonna buy it, right? Them rappers was getting so much money they didn't know what to do. So the white folks started them fighting each other, divide, conquer, and rule. Pretty soon you got Tupac and them popping up dead, and all these people, right? Why? Because the European was watching. He don't want no money to circulate in your community. Because if you circulate money, you bring somebody up. If he brings somebody up, if it ain't nobody but his family, well, some of the family ain't gonna bring some. Pretty soon, you got everybody getting up. Why are you at the bottom? When everybody else come here in a few years, you ought to see Oakland and them other places. Even in Carolina, you drive down the street, there's tiendas everywhere. Frutas y verduras, right? Everywhere. Because they bring the entrepreneurial spirit. Ain't nobody moved on them like they moved on you and I. We have to reconstruct ourselves. That's one of the things about Islam. I don't want to stray from the subject, but I'll get back to charity in a minute. It's one of the things about Islam. It rebuilds the human being, right? The Masjid brings us together, right? To give us the prayer, discipline, organization, structure in life. That's what we get, right off the top. But you take black people inherited the Islamic movement in America, right? Civil rights, black power, black nationalism, and then what? Islam. And what did we do with Islam? We gave it away to the immigrant community. We gave it away. Instead of us focusing on change in America, now we're focused on integrating into America. We already integrated into America. We know that don't work, right? But immigrants don't know that. They push immigration. I mean, integration. They down with that. We want to be like them. No matter how heavy the European beats the immigrant is still happy. I'm not in Syria with that war. I'm not in Yemen. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm still here in the blessed America. And then they forget about their folks, and they got laws to say if you help the people of Yemen, if you help the people of Syria, if you help anybody in Iran, if you help all they guidelines or their laws now, where you can't help people overseas. You can't do it. It's against the law. They classify them as terrorists. You know, all the charity groups, 8 of them. I didn't know this, but the legal guy talking, I'm going to close in a minute. He said, man, out of all the Holy Land Foundation, all of the groups, we the people, like they are part of America. We came to Islam to make America better. They came to America to get to be a part of America. They're not bad, they're good brothers. We like all our brothers. We like going to their Masjid and going everywhere. That's not the way to go. They think we'll vote like Jews and we'll get part. Voting is insanity. Right? Our idea of make America better is alternative resistance. Right? We believe the Masjid, the church, the synagogue should set aside all that foolishness, this is just brief, and we make America better. We got the people, we got the ideology, all of them love your neighbor and all of that stuff. Sermon on the Mount, right? The meek shall inherit the earth. All of our ideologies got that. We got the people, look at how many churches around here. Suppose the churches and the Masjid, and even if the synagogue wanted to, suppose we leave them people alone, the system, and we go out, alternative resistance. When they think of nonviolent resistance, they think you just sit and no. Nonviolent resistance, but alternative resistance. Church, the mosque, the synagogue should do what they were originally meant to do. In the old days, you had the church to give out charity, isn't that right? You had the masjid to give out charity, right? Now, if they got drug problems, how would did it before? How do you think my friends feel, the preachers, when I go and tell them, hey man, I said, we're thinking about trying to live like Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Why don't you guys try to live like Jesus? What do you mean? I said, well, you know, I see that big old 740 out there. Isn't that the big Benz they got? One of the BMWs. I said, what if, you know, that Oakland, all these drug problems we have, what if we, the churches, they were meant for a refuge, allowed the people to live in our churches and all the drug programs we'd have there, so we would solve homeless. That's the problem. That's just what the church was supposed to do, right? Help the needy, help the homeless, right? And the masjid is too. I haven't been thrown out of none of the churches that my homeboys run. They all big preachers there. We was all in crime together. Now they big preachers. They can't fathom it. They can't understand what is the brother talking about. We need money. The church, right? The senior choir need a whole new uniform. That's going to cost $50,000, right? The senior choir. The junior choir need $40,000 to get their stuff hooked up. To make a joyful noise to the Lord. So the church can change from helping people, the poor, right, to making a singing and dancing. That's what they do in church. Tell the truth. I'm not against the church. And the Masjid is the same. Our big aids to collect all the money, what do they do? What about the people? Right? Sadaqah, infaq, right? Zakah. There's 8 categories of zakah. Everybody in America, almost except the homeless, is above nisab, above the level of necessity. Why don't we give it to the people? Why don't we reorganize ourselves? That nonviolent resistance is alternative resistance. We're not going to ask the government anymore. Because they're going to use, they got their wars to fight, they got their fitna, CIA to start trouble in all of our countries. Isn't every one of our countries on fire right now? Not all of them, but most of them. Most of the trouble is in Muslim countries and down in Africa, right? Most of the big, big trouble. Trouble they have in Europe is minor compared to what we're having today. We're trying to make a comeback, but you find in our countries, in our societies, are the ones that need the most help. That's why a person can work here and send $200 or $300 back to Pakistan every month, and the people live like kings. So you can see when a person come here, they motivated. One person, it ain't just them. He's trying to hook the whole family up. When he get married, he got to hook up her side and his side. Everybody back there, just to send a few $100s won't do me and you no good, isn't that right? Suppose, I'm going to close with this. You know we need help to do it. Suppose, actually this is our attempt. This is what we're planning to do soon. We had a big piece of property in Oakland. We're going to turn it into a homeless shelter. Well, we don't want to, they call it the unhoused. But ours is going to be different. We're going to have a 3 and 3.5 star homeless shelter. That means you're not there just laying down and eating a bowl of soup. In our homeless shelter, we're going to do this with Allah's help. The people come and see you in the morning. Mr. So-and-so, what would you want for breakfast? What? It's a homeless shelter. What do they say? They say 65% of the people that are homeless have psychological problems. Well, if you was thrown out of your house and all that, you'd have psychological, right? So imagine, if you treat somebody like a human being, that'll solve half the problem right there, right? If you treat Mr. Homeless number 250,000 like a human being, right? Over a short period of time, they're going to make a human recovery, because the human-to-human relationship is more important than the money-to-money or human-to-money relationship. The human-to-human relationship, if you make everybody feel like you're a part of us, you're not excluded, right? If we're hungry, you're going to be hungry. If you got food, I got food. Right? That's carried people for most of human existence. Tribal people, everything. The only people, or the only creature that used to leave other creatures behind to die if they wasn't strong enough was animals, because they didn't have the ability to help. So if a little animal was born, they wanted to protect it. If a lion came, they couldn't protect it against, excuse the big lion. But the human beings, if they had to carry their people on a stretcher, right? And the older you got, ask some of the old people from overseas, the older you got, the more respect you got. Now the older you get, you're lucky they don't beat you upside your head. Your own kids. Hey man, to get old now, you be scared, man. I'm getting old, because I ain't scared. I'm 75, but that ain't old. I have to walk with a little limp every now and then. But I look forward to getting old. I want to be at least 100. It's going to take that long to fix anything here in America, right? So that's a goal. Now I may live to tomorrow or next week or something, but when I go, I'll be happy. You know why? Because I'm trying to do something correct. Now, we need y'all's help to finish up these projects, so I'm not going to wear you out. I asked you to help us out, and I know it's going to hurt. And I know anything you give is going to hurt. And if it don't hurt, you're not giving enough. Oh Allah, we seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief. We seek thy refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek thy refuge from cowardice and niggardliness. We seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice us with what is lawful. Keep from us what is prohibited. With thy grace, make us free from want of what is beside thee. Ameen.